So is this the end of the war, Sushant Sareen? Do you look at it as the war coming to a close? Because both J.D. Vance and President Trump very clearly told President Zelensky, you're not winning this war. You'll come out okay only if you sign a deal. So that's the best case scenario for you. But Europe, and you spoke of countries with an army of just 1,000 in Europe saying that we stand with President Zelensky and Ukraine. But so does Canada, so does France. You heard what Emmanuel Macron said. You heard what Spain's Pedro Sanchez said. We've heard what Justin Trudeau in Canada have said. What does this mean? Is NATO dead?
So look, I don't think NATO is dead as yet, but I think maybe it's gasping for breath. But look, wars are not going to end simply because one side is losing the war. It depends. Wars are ultimately calculations in the minds of people. Now, I think the calculation in the Trump administration's mind is that this war is not going the way it should go. So it's better to end it here when you still can retrieve something from this conflict. Otherwise, who knows what direction it will head into. I also sense a certain amount of fatigue, especially in the current US administration, to keep funding this kind of a war because it distracts the Americans from certain other priorities which they might be setting for themselves. Now, that can be a matter of debate, and that's a debate Americans need to have among themselves, what their priority should be. Should it be Russia, which simply does not pose a similar kind of a threat either to Europe or to the US, as probably China does in a strategic sense in the next 20, 30, 50 years, right?
Yes.
But that's a calculation these guys have to make, not us. We will have to deal with China. We will have to deal with the world as is. And for the Westerners to imagine that, the entire global security architecture rests on there being this transatlantic alliance of theirs, I think they are mistaking the rest of the world for the West, which clearly is not the case. The other thing is, do the Europeans really have the stomach for a fight? It's one thing to say, okay, fine, we are going to give weapons to the Ukrainians, let them go and fight. We'll give them money, we'll take some of their refugees, let them go and fight and die for us. Will they have the stomach to send their own soldiers in? Will they have stomach to send their own armies in? Will Norway or Finland or all of these countries which are acting as though they are some kind of world leaders, will they have the stomach to fight this war? We've seen what happened in Afghanistan.
Yes.
There were these much wanted European armies would start crying the moment they had to fire shots and they saw their
body bags come in.
Soldiers die. So let's not kid ourselves on what the Europeans can or cannot do. But if Zelensky wants to fight to the end, I don't see how anybody can stop him.